Hi, first grade. This is Mrs. Schmall. I miss you all. We were reading March Mischief, and I'd like to continue that for you. And we are on chapter 10, Pal's Nose Nose. Bradley checked his watch. Let's go home and eat, he said. Then we can decide what to do next. The kids woke up Pal. They all hiked back along Bridge Lane. When they got home, there was no car in the driveway. Mom's still not home, Brian said. She left sandwiches, Bradley said. Inside, the kids lined up at the sink and washed their hands. Pal crawled under the table to wait for crumbs. Bradley pulled a plate of sandwiches from the fridge. Brian got out milk and glasses for everyone. We have tuna, peanut butter and jelly, and egg salad, Bradley said. Tuna, Brian yelled. Egg salad, Lucy said. Bradley and Nate both had PB&J. Bradley thought about Lucky and Officer Fallon. He still wondered who had told Officer Fallon that Lucky was the thief. We have to talk to Lucky, Bradley said. Why? His brother asked. He might know who told Officer Fallon to arrest him, Bradley answered. But Lucky's in jail, Brian said. So we can ask Officer Fallon to let us see him, Nate said. They let prisoners have visitors. How do you know? Lucy asked. Nate grinned. He had a milk mustache. I saw it on TV, he said. 10 minutes later, the kids walked up the steps of the police station. Pal pulled on his leash. The police station was warm and quiet. A radiator hissed. A clock ticked. It's creepy in here, Nate whispered. Just be glad you're not Lucky, Lucy said. He's in a jail cell. Yuck, Brian said. I heard they sleep on cement beds with spiders and rats. And all they feed you is bread and water, Nate said. You guys watch too much TV, Lucy said. Just then the door opened. Ben and Ralphie walked in. Hey, what are you guys doing here? Ben asked. We came to see your brother, Bradley said. We did too, Ralphie said. We brought him some cookies. He held up a lumpy bag. Ben looked around. Where's his cell? He asked. I think it's downstairs, Brian said. There's Officer Fallon's office, Bradley said. Come on. A small sign hung from Officer Fallon's doorknob. It said, Gone to lunch. Almost 1 o'clock, Bradley said. He should be back soon. Let's wait. The 6 kids sat on a long bench under the clock. Ralphie held the lumpy bag on his lap. Bradley could smell the cookies. He wondered what kind they were. Pal was sniffing the floor. Suddenly, he raced to a closed door. He began whimpering. Bradley followed Pal. What's the matter, boy? He asked. Pal's tail was going crazy. He let out a low growl. He put his front paws on the door. Bradley opened the door. The room was dark. He found a wall switch and a light came on. Bradley saw mops and pails and other cleaning supplies. Against the back wall stood a huge old desk. It was partly covered with a sheet. A dusty computer sat on the desk. Spider webs make it look creepy. In a corner stood a tall trash barrel. Then Bradley saw something else. Guys, he whispered, guess what Pal found? The 5 other kids hurried over to Bradley and Pal. Look, Bradley said. He pointed inside the room. On a table stood 3 leprechauns. One had floppy ears and a doggy nose and wore part of an old sweater. Pal leaped into the room and licked his sweater. Chapter 11. Why is Lucky laughing? You're awesome, Pal, Nate said. Let's give these to Officer Fallon, Ben said. And get Lucky out of jail, Ralphie added. Wait a second, Bradley said. Let me think. A minute passed. He's thinking, Brian said. Nate giggled. Something's wrong here, Bradley said finally. Don't you guys wonder how the leprechauns got from Lucky's closet to this storage room? Maybe one of the cops found them and stuck them in here, Ben said. Found them where? Ralphie said. They never came inside to look in Lucky's closet. Besides, if a cop found the leprechauns, he'd have told Officer Fallon, Bradley said, and he would have returned our leprechaun to us. And he wouldn't keep Lucky locked up, Ralphie said. You're right, Bradley, Lucy said. Something weird is going on. Just then they heard someone laugh. Bradley turned around. That came from Officer Fallon's office, he said. Bradley thought for another minute. He tiptoed over to Officer Fallon's door. The others followed. More to come later.